Member for Mildura.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. And might I say before I begin what an absolute joy it is to see you sitting in the chair and you're doing a terrific job. It's also my pleasure to rise to speak on the Container Deposit Scheme Environment Legislation Amendment, Circular Economy and Other Matters Bill 2023. Now this did, you know what, I had so many puns planned, I really did, because I love a pun, almost as much as I love a sports analogy, and member for Morty Alex stole them all. So I've had to quickly just rejig what I was going to say, but I'm sure none of us can contain our excitement. Well, there's one, contain our excitement. I've heard put it in the bin, all these other things. The best one I heard, may I say, was the member for Morwell who described a bottle that you can recycle, obviously, as a vessel of happiness. And I'm sure we can all identify with that. But I have been listening to a lot of these contributions being made on this bill. And the member for Morwell, as well as being highly entertaining, also made some very, very good points. And this did have the potential, and the community were very excited about the container deposit scheme in our electorate, but it's not without its challenges. Even yesterday, I had seen we only have 5 collection points in the 37,500 square kilometres of my electorate, which makes things a little bit challenging. But there was one of our main collection points yesterday was having some teething issues on day one with the network operator. But apparently the other one on the other side of town was operating. So just some communications issues, and I'm sure that will work itself out. The issue that has been expressed to me, though, is because we are such a vast and some of the most isolated towns in the state, Murrayville, for example, which is over on the South Australian border, 2 hours from Mildura, 2 hours from... It's out in the desert. I mean, we live in the desert anyway. We choose to live there. It's a great place, God's country. However, with the cost of fuel the way it is at the moment, and there's no fuel, you can't actually get fuel in Murrayville, so that you either have to go across the border into South Australia to get your fuel or get it when you take the 2-hour drive to Mildura or wherever you're going. There's not a collection point there. So with the cost of fuel, the cost of living, although people want to take part in the scheme, there's not really a return on the 4-hour round trip. Some of the changes that I believe could have been made, and maybe they will as the program evolves, is those, the machines, if they could be put into every country footy club, like Murrayville, like Underbull, like Walpyup, like all these places that are in essentially hours from anywhere, and have that money go directly to the club. You'd have one in every country football club in Victoria. The other thing is, and there's been lots of references to the crushing of cans and then using that money to go and get, as the member for Broadmeadows was saying, go to get your mixed lollies, when mixed lollies you could, if you had $1, it would get you a litre of mixed lollies, the good old days. Crushing cans is one of those things that I've been conditioned to do. I now condition my kids to do it. We've even got this may illustrate me in a different light. We've got a can crusher in our outdoor area to make room in the bin. So it's one of those things that I'm conditioning my kids to do now too. Sorry? Well, it might. You know what? If we could recycle it, I'm sure I'll take it to a men's shed and they can take it apart and re-weld it into some other sculpture. I mean, I don't drink a lot of things out of cans anyway. I prefer the vessels of happiness, but I'm sure we'll find another use for it. My point is that it's the crushing of cans that my generation are conditioned to do, and now I'm doing it to my kids. So it will be, and I've noticed even on Around Again's Facebook page after they'd put up the post yesterday saying, we're actually not ready to go, there were some questions about will you take crushed cans? No, there's not, and there was some discussion about that. So again, there's a few little challenges that I think could make the rollout easier, particularly in my part of the world where container collection points can be hours away. So we have, like I said, we have 5. We've got Around Again in Mildura. We've got Bottles and Cans in Mildura, they're in Burncourt, other side of town. J&J's Trash and Treasure in Robinvale. And then there's not one until Donald and Charlton, which are 3 hours away. So that middle section And I know I talk with my hands a lot, it's my culture, that's what we do. So if you imagine Mildura up here, Robin Vale here, and then there's not another one until right down the bottom of the electorate. So there are some challenges there, obviously. And it just appears to be another scheme that's rolled out that had the potential to be great, but because it's been rushed through and not right, it would be much better to delay. I'm just one of those incredibly practical people, pragmatic. If it's not right, get it right the first time and move on instead of rushing it through and then fixing it as it goes. So I know there has been excitement within the communities, but we would love to see, and this is the feedback that I've had, is that we would love to see the ability for sports clubs, particularly footy netball clubs out in regional Victoria, to be able to host the 24-hour automated machines with vast capacity that would automatically give all that money to the clubs. And like I said, if that was an option, I'm sure every football club in my electorate and probably every country footy club in the state would take one, because it's money for cans. Ha ha, there I go, I got one in. Thank you.